That was Hypnotized by Notorious B.I.G. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the sports podcast, Cleats, Skates, and Hoops, where we talk everything sports. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the NBA playoff games that have been going on, talk about each series. Then we go to the NHL, give you our round 2 predictions for each series, along with our X factors for each series. Then we go to Champions League and discuss the Champions League final that just happened a few days ago. Then we're going to end the podcast talking about a little bit of NFL, Earl Thomas being released from the Ravens.
Can't wait to rip him apart.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll start with the Western Conference for the NBA. Let's start with Jazz versus Nuggets. I think we all picked Nuggets on this, and it looks like we're going to be wrong unless something else happens. One thing I want to say is Gary Harris hasn't played yet, and he's coming back. Or he was supposed to come back, I think, last game. He eventually was ruled out, but I think he might come back and really help them out in the next few games.
Oh, for sure. And not to mention, too, for the Jazz side, Gio and I said, I'm pretty sure Moose said, too, Mike Conley's out. And that same night when we dropped the podcast, he came back and dropped about 30-plus points. And they've won 2 games with him in the lineup. So, I mean, we're on a roll, fellas, right now with all of our callings of people being out or injured. They're proving us wrong, and I hate it. Also, another storyline I like, too, I like to see the Canadian, Jamal Murray, dominate, but he can only do so much. And they're down 3-1 now. He's dropping 40-plus points a game. I mean, Jokic is doing well, too, but they need a third guy at this point because you can't forget about Donovan Mitchell, who's dropping a 60-point game, a 50-point game. This is just superstars going at it. I like it. And, I mean, I'm wrong, but for the first time in a while, I'm happy to be wrong in a series that I predicted to be the other way around.
I think we all predicted the Nuggets to win this one, and they're down 3-1, which is crazy, man. The Nuggets they're a good team. Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell had a spectacular show out last game. They both put up 50-plus points. It's a close game. Game 3, the Jazz kind of blew out the Nuggets. It was almost by 40 points. So right. I don't know what they got to do. Donovan Mitchell, man. This guy's just killing it.
Spider.
Yeah, he's doing really good.
He's playing really well. I think Gary Harris, like what Doug said, he'll be that third guy for scoring, hopefully, and I'm assuming they're going to want him to score 20-plus points if they need to win, if they're going to win these games.
Imagine that, trying to win series, you need 3 guys to show up, man. And that's only the first round.
Yeah, crazy. All right, up next, Clippers versus Mavs.
Let's go.
Really close. I'm sure Moose is so happy right now with how it's going. Even though he did predict Clippers in 6, I'm sure he doesn't mind if he's wrong on this one.
Man, I love this series. It's such a good last game 4. It just proves that Luka Doncic is the best. He's a superstar. He's a superstar. This is El Kristaps Porzingis too. Okay, put up 43 points. He had a triple-double as well. Beat them in overtime. Right. Paul George was nowhere to be seen that game.
Nowhere to be seen. He's terrible right now. Sorry, not all time, but right now he looks bad.
I think Mavericks can actually do it. And this was out Porzingis in game 4. Out without him.
And not to mention, too, Doncic has 1 foot sprained. Yeah. I think his left ankle.
Honestly, double all his stats. The guy had 86 points.
80 points.
With two healthy feet, 86 points that game.
It looked like a very, very minor sprain to me. That's what it looks like to me.
I think they can do it. I really do.
It's mind over matter, and Doncic is an absolute animal. I'm curious to see whenever Paul George is going to explode, because it's bound to happen at some point. I mean, him getting 14 points or 9 points in a game is like – that was like as bad as when Roy Hibbert was getting like 3 rebounds at 7'2" back in the day. Like, it's unheard of, and no one knew this was going to happen. And either I'd say game 5 or game 6, Paul George is going to have like a 40-point game. It's just a matter of time. And if not, then –
might be too late at that point.
It could be. I mean, maybe his confidence is completely shot and he's completely shook, and Kawhi's on an island by himself. So
Lou Williams did have a good game in game 4.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Absolutely.
the only reason that they stuck with it. If Lou Williams wasn't there, it was just all Kawhi, and Mavericks would have taken it.
Well, also keep in mind, too, that if Doncic didn't hit that game winner, it'd be 3-1 Clippers. Right? So there's a lot of storylines in this series.
Shoot.
Exactly.
You can say, if he shot it or if he didn't, he still got it in.
He did.
We don't know what's going to happen if he didn't get it in. He got it in. So
game 5 is pivotal, not only to see who wins to go up 3-2, but for Doncic and Porzingis' side, or if Paul George can finally play. It's going to be a really good game. I really hope it's not on late.
Yeah, like you said, Paul George hasn't really done anything in series, and yet they're still 2-2.
Yeah, exactly.
So imagine if he actually shows up. There's no way the Mavericks will win if he shows up.
Mhm.
Will he show up? I don't know if he's injured or something or what's happening. I've never seen him have this bad of a playoff series.
Mhm.
But yes, remains to be seen.
For sure.
Up next, Rockets Thunder. Right now it's a 2-1 series.
Mhm.
I think me and Moose picked the Thunder, and then of course
Thunder.
Doug picked
Yep.
Houston.
Oh, obviously I'm going to pick the Rockets. I'm going to lead off here if you guys don't mind. Biggest storyline going into Game 4 and Game 5 because they're going to end it in 5 games. Westbrook's back now, so congratulations, Chris Paul. You had your 1 game of fame. You dropped how many points you had in overtime. You had a great game. The fadeaway shot's a miracle one. You did it. Good job. Now simmer down, be quiet, because Houston's going to dominate you. James Harden has been putting on a show by himself, as we all predicted, and he's dominating the series. Eric Gordon, coming off the bench, is playing well too. He's always been that veteran bench player, role guy who knows his role very well, not much of an ego, and he just plays the system right for D'Antoni and the Rockets. And like I said, Chris Paul, it was his vintage game. He had his 1 game to shine to kind of stick it to Houston. Screw you. You traded me. But with Westbrook back, this series is pretty much done, I think.
I disagree. I don't think it's done yet. If you look at the game they won, at least I think four players on OKC had over 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Team game, I think Steven Adams only had 6 points, and he's a guy who can easily put up 10 points or more.
Mm-hmm.
I think he still stand a good chance. And let's be real, Harden isn't exactly consistent. Neither is Westbrook. And Westbrook coming back from an injury, will he be healthy right away? Will he be able to step right in and perform like he usually does? I don't know. We'll see.
He probably will. That guy's a psychopath. He's an absolute monster. He's just insane, explosive athlete. So let's
he's
just
a
hope
freak athlete, but his decision making, not this year. This year's decision making has improved a lot. But in the past, when he can be out of control. He drives the net a lot, and like simple shots that he should be making, he doesn't make. He takes bad shots. We'll see what form of him comes back, but
he's a very impulsive player.
I just want to say, Game 3, Harden got fouled out, and then it went to overtime,
which is why they lost. But yeah, go on.
And he scored 3 points in overtime. So this is what tells me is that Harden and Westbrook are really the only two, and you can see it. Harden's averaging 32 points. Good on him. The next high up is Jeff Green with 19. But if you look at the Thunder, you got 3 players averaging 20 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
They have more depth here. Westbrook's going to come back. Yeah, that's going to be a step for them. But when Harden and Westbrook are not on the court, who's really stepping up for them? Who's really doing stuff?
Jeff Green, that's not going to win you games.
That's not.
Austin Rivers
I think Thunder, if they can, and they still have Steve Adams. No one's going to be able to cover Steve Adams on the Rockets. They still don't have a big man there. So I really do think that Thunder can take it here. They're only down 2-1. It's not a 3-1 series. It's not over yet.
Pivotal game today. They're starting in about hours time. So if Westbrook's back and Harden doesn't foul out, it shouldn't be close, man.
Pretty good game.
If one of them has a bad game, it's over. Like the way they play, it's let Harden and Westbrook just touch the ball for 3 seconds. Yes. And then if they don't have a shot, they pass to someone and they're forced to jack up a shot. So when they're not there, no one else knows how to run the offense. They don't run the offense. They just kind of do solo ISO ball.
They're way too dependent, and if anybody on OKC wants to try and injure them, I will go to the bubble myself and fist fight anybody in OKC myself because I'll be pissed.
I also see that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry.
All right, Lakers and Trailblazers. Lakers are up 2-1. I think we all saw this coming. Trailblazers won 1 game. Will they win another? I'm going to say no. I think Lakers are going to take care of them. We saw playoff LeBron last game. He just went absolutely off. No one's really close to him at this point. And I would think maybe in the entire NBA, besides maybe Giannis, who can dominate a game at that level.
Not to mention LeBron's like 36.
Yeah, right.
Which is nuts.
My opinion, the best player of all time, but it's another story.
Yeah,
I think Lakers are still going to win this in 5. I predicted it in 5, and that's how it's going to go.
I think Lakers are still going to win this. There's no doubt about that. Game 1, it was Damian Lillard's show. That's only because Anthony Davis was a no-show.
Yeah.
And then he came back. And then they won both games, Game 2 and Game 3. Anthony Davis had more points. He had 31 points. He had 11 rebounds. And then LeBron took Game 3 for himself. What's really concerning for me is Kyle Kuzma. I really expected more from him. He's only averaging 9.3 points a game. Still playing 24 minutes. So he's playing minutes, but he's not scoring a lot. I just want to see more from him. Lillard had his show. He had his game 1, good for them. But it's Lakers from now on. They're still going.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that. Pretty much all my notes are what Moose said. Game 1 was a Damian Lillard show. That logo shot was pretty much disgusting. Kuzma needs to be more assertive. I mean, LeBron, as we know, is like Optimus Prime. The guy's just unstoppable. Davis finally stepped up when it matters most. And I mean, even if the Blazers get like more from a CJ McCollum, I mean, yeah, he's an injured back, so you can't ask for much, but he's still playing well. So even with like him and Lillard being automatic, man, I mean, I don't know. The Lakers just look too good. J.R. Smith, even from the off the bench, Alex Caruso, my X factor, like they're poised. They're poised to win this round. I don't know about the next round, depending who they play, but it's not going to be a close series for sure. And it's finally good to see Davis actually playing well because he's been waiting for the playoffs for a while now.
Also, Danny Green needs to step
yes,
a
former
here.
Raptor too. Big time. He's got to hit his threes.
The guy's shooting 30%.
Wait till he catches fire, man.
Yeah.
I agree with both of you. They both need to play a lot better. Maybe not this series. They probably don't need him as much this series, but next series they're going to need him.
It's only going to get harder.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll see. Especially Danny Green. My gosh, the 3-point shooter. All right, we'll do the games the series that have already ended in sweeps. So we'll start with the Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers. I think we saw this coming. I didn't think it was going to be a sweep, but it didn't look very hard for the Celtics. Let's say that.
You know, they lost Simmons, so they have that excuse if you want. But the 76ers need to go into the mode where they need to fix things now. They had the process era. Good for them. The coach that they had for them, that process era was good. Now they need a new coach. I think they need to find someone who's going to do this right. There's a lot of 76ers fans online that are just angry. You know, you guys got swept right now. Joel Embiid, he did okay. What did he put up? 30 points. Good on him. The next up was Josh Richardson, who put up 16.8.
Who?
Yeah. Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, all averaged 20 points or more. Celtics team is a good team. They were my pick to make it to the finals.
You're looking pretty. You're shooting 100 right now, so
yeah, they're looking good. They're first in blocks per game. So I think they're just hungry for this.
Oh, absolutely, and like you said, Kemba Walker's looking great in his first actual playoffs because with Charlotte, I mean, they were bad for so long. But yeah, like the main storyline that I want to point out is obviously like not the sweep and how they got dominated. Everyone saw that coming. Maybe not a sweep, but how the play was going to go. It was Tobias Harris, man. Did you guys see that nasty fall he had?
Yeah.
Accidental leg sweep, falls, smashes his eye on the court. He's bleeding everywhere. It looked nasty. It looked like he was knocked out. Concussion protocol. Came back, man. I have a lot of respect for that guy. Like normally, if an NBA player like they'll fracture their finger, they're out for 6 weeks, or you know what I mean. They're kind of over dramatic, I guess you could say. But seeing a guy do that is, man, that's a ballsy move, and you got to respect a guy like that. Like even though he knew they were going to lose, he still came back for his team. So a lot of respect for Tobias Harris.
Good player. I think their biggest thing is developing players. If you look at the Raptors, for instance, I mean, it's a special case. They draft late round guys, and they end up becoming basically stars at this point. Like if you look at Norm Powell, great player. Siakam, like on the verge of becoming, or he's a star, I'd say right now, maybe a superstar in the future. And like you look at 76ers. Like look at their last game. They had 6 guys with points. Mm-hmm. Their 7th guy was Neto, who had 3 points. If you take him away, only 6 guys had points on their entire team. 6.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm sure Doug will probably talk about it. The bench for the Raptors in the last game they played. That's the difference. They have the depth. They have when people aren't on, they can rely on other people. Mm-hmm. 76ers can't do that. Yeah, they didn't have Ben Simmons, but even with him, they need more depth. They need better depth scoring. They just don't have that right now.
And a better coach, like Moose said too, because
I wouldn't be surprised if I see a coach change and a GM change in the 76ers management.
Yeah, because those contracts for Harris and Horford don't look too good right now.
No,
so, I mean they're good players, but a lot of money paid.
Yeah, Horford needs to do more if he's gonna get paid that much.
Oh God, yeah, 10 points a game. Come on, man.
Gotta do
better. Pick up.
All right, Raps Brooklyn, 4-0.
Yeah.
Raps look dominant right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. Game 2, they were started a little rough, and they ended up tightening it up in the 4th quarter, getting the win. I'm sticking with my pick. I'm liking them to win the entire thing. I know Lowry is injured, sprained his ankle. I still think they have a chance to beat Boston even without Lowry, although he's obviously a huge piece leadership-wise. Mm-hmm. I still think they have a chance. Hopefully he can come back in the later games and maybe produce even a little bit, even just a leadership role, I think it'll help them a lot.
Well, absolutely. And just like you said, the Raptors look dominant. I mean, mind you, Brooklyn had really nobody playing anyway, but that's great for the team's confidence and team morale. Like Ibaka looked dominant. Powell looked good. Van Fleet was hitting his threes. Like they're starting to get into their playoff form. And not to mention they have the coach of the year, Nick Nurse. Finally getting the recognition he deserves. He knows how to play the players right. He knows how to put the guys in positions to succeed. And he said too, like, as a coach, he knows what he's talking about, right? He knows how to game plan. But when his players come off to talk to him, they bounce ideas off each other. Rather than do this, the players go, hey, how about this idea? And that's why he works with them so well. And that's why they win games with bench guys coming up. Terrence Davis even playing well. And obviously, we all know the biggest story out of Game 4 after they swept the floor with Brooklyn, their bench had 100 points. Now, I'm not a big basketball junkie portrayed, but I don't know the last time that happened. Maybe you guys do. I have no idea. Putting up 150 points and 100 of them by your bench is pretty impressive no matter who your opponent is. So, I mean, with Lowry out, I still think they'll beat the Celtics, the Moose's pick, but it's going to be a dogfight. So, and look for Powell to step up too, big time.
Well, we all predicted it. I said Raptors in 4 as well. They did it. What I do want to say is that they played really good defensively. You know, in the first 3 games, kept them to under 110 points. In this game 2 and game 3, under 100 points. So good on them on that. Game 4, as you said, their bench played probably most of it, so that's why they let up 122 points. But still, that bench scoring that much just shows you that they have depth, like most teams don't. Chris LeVert was best player on Nets. He's averaged 20 points a game, 6 rebounds. Timothy was the next up. He averaged 16 points. Good on them. But this is a team that actually has Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant injured, who are going to come back probably next year. So still a scary team. They made playoffs without them. So this team can go far next year, and I want to see where they can go next year. And I'm going to be scared because they look like a really good team with those two.
And they might get Popovich, too, as their coach.
Yeah.
And don't forget, they're missing also DeAndre Jordan and Dinwiddie.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a broken team, and yet, they got swept, but they're still in the playoffs. And they weren't the 8th seed. They were 7th seed.
Like, if those guys all played, I mean, the Raptors wouldn't be sweeping them. They could possibly lose depending on if Durant was healthy enough to score a lot of points. So
yeah, their team would be really good if they were firing on all cylinders. Hopefully Durant can come back fully healthy and play like
I want to see that team. I want to see that team healthy, and I want to see how well they can do.
Yeah, future looks bright for sure. Well said.
Fun team to watch
said.
for sure. All right, up next, Heat Pacers. Heat are up 3-0. They look very good right now.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Pacers, not so much.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Like I said, Pacers need to work on their scoring. Oladipo's been playing okay. Not as a previous level that I said he needed to play at. I think he's averaging maybe 20 points a game. And then Warren, obviously, his bubble was crazy. Everyone was so hyped up to see him. And he's really digressed since the bubble. And if they want to win even one game, he's going to have to step up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I did not see a sweep. I think all 3 of us said at least 6 or 7 games for this series.
Yeah.
And it's just and Gio nailed it on the head. Butler's averaging 24.3 points a game. TJ Warren's invisible now in the playoffs, as Jimmy Butler predicted. Everyone thought he was crazy and stupid, but he was right. He's proving his game to be great, and he's proving Warren to be a faker of a superstar, whatever the word I'm looking for. I can't think of it right now. Yeah, fraud. Yeah, perfect. There you go. And one guy on Miami that I do like is Goran Dragic. He's putting up 20-plus points a game. He's moving the ball well. He's a lefty, too. It's what I like to see.
He still got it.
Still got it, man. He was on Phoenix for a while, and obviously in Phoenix, no one really knows anybody besides Booker at this point. So no one really cared about him. Got traded to Miami, and he's been looking good. So look out for the Heat in the second round. That is if they win, but I mean most likely they will.
Yeah, I predicted the Heat to win. They're on the verge of winning. I also did point out last podcast that TJ Warren doesn't do good against the Heat. And this is being shown right here. As Dougie and Gio said, he's just averaging 19.7 points, 6 rebounds. The main star of the Pacers is Malcolm Brogdon. He's really stepping up here. He's got 24 points a game. As for the Heat, Butler, he's just doing Jimmy Butler things. You know, averaging 24 points, 6 rebounds. He's doing amazing. As Dougie said, Dragic is playing insane. Also, Duncan Robinson. He is shooting above 50% on three-point line, which I like to see, and I think he can do a little bit better too. He's a good threat on the three-point line, and I'd be scared if I was against him because he can go on a heater, and when he does, he can get a little bit unstoppable.
Yeah, and then Tyler Hero coming off the bench. Like, this guy's been playing crazy. Honestly, I can see him being a starter possibly even by next year for them.
A lot of hot takes. I like it.
All right, and last game of the NBA so far, or last series, sorry, Bucks versus the Magic. I still think the Bucks are going to win this. Yeah, the Magic are playing really well. It's kind of shocking to see that so far the only losing team so far that's won is the 1 versus the 8 seed. Every other series is looking like a sweep so far. Maybe the Heat Pacers might not be a sweep, but it's kind of shocking to see.
Oh, for sure, man. And like I said, I had Bucks in 5. Orlando would find Magic in their bubble to win. But right now, the game is going on in the third quarter. The Magic are up by 1. So, I mean, they're not going down without a fight. Game 3 was a blowout. Okay, sure. The whole fist fight happened, whatever. But if Vucevic plays out of his mind, which he did in game 1 and he's doing right now, I mean, who knows, man? I mean, they could win a game, but I don't see them winning the series. Giannis is an absolute beast, or Giannis, however you say his name, absolute animal. That guy is a lankier version of LeBron, and he can dominate a game no matter who he's playing. My biggest question for Milwaukee, either in this series or when they move on, is Chris Middleton, man. He's probably playing like Paul George or possibly worse. He's not on the same caliber as Paul George, obviously, but he's the number 2 guy in Milwaukee after Giannis. Like, if Giannis is on the bench, they're going to ride Middleton to hit threes or hit big shots. He's doing nothing. He was great last year. They paid him a lot. So look for him either this series or the next one if they move on to really, really step up and score big points.
Yeah, Magic took a game, good on them, but it's over for them. I think Milwaukee can just take the next 4. They've taken the next 2, and the next 2 are just going to be easy for them too. The Greek Freak, he's called the Greek Freak for a reason. Antetokounmpo, he's averaging 31 points, 16 rebounds. Insane. The guy is Vucevic is trying to stop him, and he's the best player on the Magic. He's averaging 29 points, almost 10 rebounds. Good on him. But you got Terrence Ross as your next point getter, 16.7. You can't really stop Antetokounmpo. You know, this guy's just going to power through you. Like I said last time, Brook Lopez, I think he has a really good defensive game, averaging a block and a steal a game. Good on him. Like what Dougie said, Chris Middleton, guy needs to step up. 11 points a game, and he's playing 31 minutes. He's playing the same amount of minutes as Antetokounmpo. Mm-hmm. And he's shooting 29% at from the 3-point range. This is very bad. And he's only shooting 32% in field goal percentage.
Thank God they're paying him a lot.
Yeah. So the Bucks are still doing good here. Yeah, it's a first against an 8 seed. They have to be doing good. But if he can step up, Bucks can go pretty far.
Okay.
Yeah, like you said, Vucevic, I think, is the most underrated, maybe not the most underrated in the league, but a very underrated player.
For sure, yeah.
I would love to see him on another team that would give him an opportunity to fight for a title one day. All right, let's head over to the NHL, and we'll also start in the Western Conference. Let's start with the Vegas Golden Knights against the Vancouver Canucks, and we'll also talk about the Canucks' last game.
Sure.
So Canucks did it. I thought they were going to go to 7 games. I think the last podcast dropped right before. I said it's going to 7. Didn't go to 7. They finished it right then and there. And that was probably one of the best games they played the entire series, too, to finish it out.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
It was impressive, to say the least.
I think I was the only one out of the 3 that predicted Vancouver, and I love it. Go Canada. They played insane. I do want to say this. Jordan Binnington was a one and done.
Yeah.
In the bubble, playoffs, whatever you want to call it, he went 0-5.
Oh.
He put up a 4.72 goals against average and an 8.51 save percentage.
Wow.
This is the Calder Trophy finalist last year. Yeah, he took over Miro Heiskanen. I always need to point that out. He had a really bad bubble. St. Louis is out. Vancouver is against Vegas now, and Vegas look insane.
Yes, for sure.
Insane. But I still have Vancouver. I gotta still go with them. They look good too. You can't doubt that they don't look good.
They took out the defending Cup champs.
Yeah, and that's got to put some confidence on their back. You know, this is a young squad. Pedersen, Quinn Hughes, young squad. The confidence there, but Vegas looks good too.
Yes.
Yeah, they have the whole goalie situation with Marc-Andre Fleury. It's whatever's happening there. It's just
that was a debacle.
Robin Leonard stood his ground. He had a shutout last game. Good on them. They won 5-0. But I still think the Canucks can rile back and win a game. I have Canucks here in 7, and I think the X factor for this one is gonna be Brock Besser. I think he's really good, and I think he can step up and score a few goals.
And it's due time for him to start scoring. He's been scoring sporadically. It's about time he starts being consistent, especially on that power play on his one-time side. Game 6, like I said, I've been saying this for 2 rounds now. I'm really surprised with how Vancouver's been playing. Part of me is happy that Binnington got yanked in Game 6, and he's just been 0-5 and terrible because he beat the Jets last year. And I said it was a lucky run, and I mean, it looks like it is. The Blues, I mean, crap happens. Like, they didn't come ready to play Game 6. There's not many changes needed to be had for them. Vancouver just outplayed them on special teams, and their big guns played when they needed to over St. Louis. But going into this series now with Vegas and Vancouver, I'm all over the place on my picks, as you guys have been hearing, and my co-hosts have been giving me the gears for this past. It's ridiculous. I know. I'm sorry. Just get used to it. As much as I want to be on the bandwagon for Vancouver, Vegas is absolutely loaded, man. Like, when they played the Jets 2 years ago, they were good. And I know it's 2 years, whatever. They just got even better with Stone and Pacioretty and Stasny. They're a sick team. I know it was the first game they played yesterday, 5-0 game. I don't even want to look at the score. I don't think Vancouver got out of their zone in the first period. Vegas is so fast on the puck. The forecheck is ridiculous. And it's just like – we said Minnesota's going to bully Vancouver, and they got through it, but Vegas is a different animal. Like, my X factor is the Vegas fourth line of Nosek, who is hurt, Ryan Reeves, who's an absolute psychopath, as we all know, who's yelling at Roussel the whole time, and Will Carrier. They're not there to score goals, as we all know. They're there to intimidate and scare Vancouver, and they did a very good job the first game, and no one's going to fight Reeves anyway, so he can do whatever the heck he wants. So if Vancouver starts to grow a pair of balls, I mean, I have Vegas in 5 games.
Exact same with me. Vegas in 5. I think you said it best. Vegas just looks dominant, or looked dominant in Game 1. And really, I think Vegas will be able to perform better on the PK compared to St. Louis. Right now, their goaltenders are playing a lot better than basically anyone on St. Louis, goalie-wise. Leonard or Fleury, I'm confident in both. Whoever plays, I think it's going to be Leonard right now. And I think overall they just have more depth scoring. Like, they have their top. Vancouver has their top line, and usually that top line is scoring on the power play.
Exactly.
They can shut that down. I don't see how they can really perform, except for Vancouver in that last game. Actually, they were getting scoring from everywhere. I don't see Tyler Mott scoring 2 goals a game.
No, and a 6 shorthanded goal or JB goal, like. Yeah, I don't see it really happening. And also, one thing I want to point out, too, as Moose would know from back in his Dallas Stars days, Antoine Roussel is supposed to be a pest, as we know. He was effective with Minnesota. He didn't tick off, or he wasn't effective at all last game. At all. The Vegas guys were laughing at him. Like, yeah, they're punching him because he's ticking them off, but they didn't take him seriously. And, like, that's got to be demoralizing for Roussel and the team because they rely on him to be kind of the engine to get other teams all undisciplined and upset. But Vegas is just a savvy veteran team, and they're not falling for his antics at all.
Yeah, there's no audience, there's no crowd here, so you kind of rely on your players to hype you up. You need that. You just need people to hype you up on your own team. You don't have the fans back there riling you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vegas isn't going to get shook like Minnesota by Roussel. Like, they've been there. They've been to the Cup final. Like, they've been there. They know what's happening. They're not going to get shook. They have one goal in mind, and that's to win the Cup. They're not going to mess anything up.
God, no. Over some pesky guy who's a plug anyway.
Yeah, like, come on. And no one's getting Reeves' head anyway, so.
Nope.
Up next, Dallas and Colorado. Dallas won the first game. I think it was 5-3.
Let's go!
Great game. McKinnon had 3 points, but really he was the only one that could produce. Yeah. Dallas has finally found their scoring streak. They're on fire right now. On absolute fire. Not to mention Grubauer is gone, I think. One more guy is gone. Is it Johnson?
Eric Johnson, yeah.
Johnson is gone as well. Look, as much as I love Dallas, I'm going to go Colorado still.
Wow.
And my X factor is going to be Burakovsky. He had a great series, a great year, if you actually look at his stats.
He did. You're right.
He's playing really well. I think he's going to produce for them. Obviously, you could have picked a lot of guys, Kadri, any one of their top line guys. But I think Burakovsky is going to help give them that edge in certain games. And I think they're going to need him. They can't just rely on McKinnon to score 3 goals and then get outscored, So I got Colorado in 7.
Dougie, I'll let you go next. Don't worry.
Oh, you're like the anchor and relay. You can bring it home for the boys here. I like it. So with Gio's points, I'm gonna go completely opposite of what he said. So with Grubauer being out indefinitely, Eric Johnson being out indefinitely, only McKinnon really playing well. I have Dallas here, and I'm gonna put him in 7 games. It was a toss-up for me in general at 7 games if Grubauer and Johnson were in, but now with the injuries, I mean, it's gonna be a dogfight, but I have Dallas in 7. So the big guns for Dallas finally woke up. I'm sure Moose will touch on it, so that's all I'm really gonna say on that part. I'll let him go more in depth because if the Jets were in this position, the roles be reversed. So the big guns are stepping up. Everyone said they couldn't score. They're starting to score now, even with their depth guys. Moose will get into that as well. But the biggest story is the new goalie, Fantuz or Frontuz, whatever his name is. Yeah, he had a good year. It's a regular season. This is the playoffs, bud. Like, it's a different animal now, and they're gonna get in his face. Jamie Benn's gonna be all up in his grill, and who knows? Maybe on accident, someone's gonna run into him, hurt him, and then the Avs have to get their third stringer in. I mean, it's who knows? Who knows what people's mindsets are? My X factor for this series is the big line for Dallas of Radulov, Seguin, and Benn. Like I said, they didn't do much against Calgary, and they completely exploded for 3 goals. I think 5 assists in the first game or something like that. Seguin looks back and ready to attack. Radulov 2 goals. Benn's finally buzzing, so look out for Dallas, man.
All right. Well, the main story before this series was, of course, the big 3 in Dallas. Benn, Radulov, Seguin. Yeah, everyone was talking about it. 4 points combined between Benn, Radulov, Seguin, and Rope Hintz. 2 goals, 2 assists. It was the first series. It was really bad. I will admit that. But I think it got to their head because, oh my God, they came out. They came charging through the gates. Alexander Radulov had 2 goals and an assist. Benn had 3 assists. Tyler Seguin had a goal and assist. And Rope Hintz had a goal. Our top line is finally out. They're here. And I think that's something to be scared about because last series, it was our second line and our third line that did everything. Mm-hmm. Our first line's here. So that's 3 lines that are constantly putting out stuff.
Right.
They're putting out points. They're putting out goals. This is good.
Yep.
The goalie situation, our main goalie, Ben Bishop, body of glass, he's out. So we have our second goalie.
Right.
Grubauer and Fantuz, they split the series. They split the season, in the regular season. Fantuz played 34 games. Grubauer played 36 games.
Right.
The only reason Grubauer was the starting goalie for the playoffs is due to his experience.
Right.
But Fantuz played better in the regular season. He had a .923 save percentage and a .241 goals against. Mm-hmm. To me, this isn't a setback for Colorado. They still have a good goalie in net. Yeah, it's not a seasoned veteran, like a one with playoff experience.
Is he not a rookie?
Look at his numbers. You're just gonna tell me this could be another Jordan Binnington? You don't know.
And Grubauer doesn't have a lot of playoff experience anyway, so it's
right.
Not like
but I mean,
dropping off there.
Was Fantuz playing like in this bubble at all? Like besides,
he played the round robin against Dallas. He shut us out. So do you don't think that gives him confidence? That's some confidence right there. This is backup goalie versus backup goalie in a sense. All right.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Hudobin's insane. I'm a Dallas Star fan. I'm gonna say he's amazing.
He's playing great.
He's playing amazing. He won a series. Good for him. But Fantuz, he's capable of doing this. So it's gonna be good. The other thing is Colorado, their first line did everything that game. All right. Their second line wasn't there. Third line, barely saw them. Fourth line, I don't even think they touched the ice. All right. This is McKinnon's show. That first goal against Dallas was insane. No goalie's ever gonna stop that. No. And then he just kept going. 2 goals. McKinnon was insane. Landeskog finally got his first goal. Good on him. But Dallas needs to find a way to stop McKinnon, and if we can, Dallas in 4. No. Dallas in 7. I
mean, you're on the right track. You're batting 100, so
yeah. Man, we look good. I just want to say that Dallas, our top line's here. Hudobin's settled in. He won a series. That's a confidence booster there. Miro Heiskanen, probably the best defender in the league, in the entire league right now. The guy is crazy good. Tom Klimberg, he's there when you need him. He got 2 game-winning goals. He's there when you need him. And he's a good defender. And
great, man. He's a great defenseman for Dallas.
And he's there when you need him is what I'm going to say. He's there when you need him to get the goal. He's a good defender too. Good on him.
Right.
Basically, my X factor right here is Rope Hintz. He had no goals in the first series. He got a goal in the first game in the second round. Mm-hmm. If he keeps going, we're cruising through into the Western Conference Final and then into the final, and then the cup is ours.
Wow. I hope you want to knock on wood, because if you jinx the boys there, you'll be devastated.
Knocking right now.
Thank God we have that on record.
Hintz is good. He looked good in the round robin. He even produced a lot of points in the round robin, but he did look really good. So if he can actually find a scoring form like he did last year in the playoffs, watch out. I say
Pesky
watch out.
Finn. He's finished, right?
Yep,
Yes.
finish.
Yeah, the pesky Finn. They always find ways to win and score, man. Gotta love it.
One thing we all agree on is that this series is going to be extremely close. We all picked them in 7.
Yep.
I really do hope it goes to 7. That'll be really fun to watch.
Be a
Oh,
good series.
absolutely. For sure.
All right, we'll
Hot
head over
take: whoever takes this series wins the cup. Hot take.
Wow. I mean,
Wow.
oh, man. But without,
Hot take.
I mean, you have a 25% chance if you look at it. I mean, if you look at it that way.
yeah, but sure. All right, we'll see. I like that, though.
All right, we'll head over to the East, and we'll start with the Bruins versus the Lightning. Bruins looked pretty good in the first game. They won 3-2. I think they probably played a bit better than their 3-2 scoreline.
Yeah, for sure.
Pasta looks back. He looks healthy. Looks normal. Halak's still looking good. So I'm going to go Bruins in 6. I was kind of back and forth. I was kind of seeing if Stamkos would come back, but there's no real sign of him coming back. John Cooper's not letting anything slip. So that tells me he's not that close, or he's not close enough for him to play at least in the first, I'm going to guess, at least 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
So without him and without him getting a few games into the actual playoff action, I don't see him helping that much. So like I said, Bruins in 6. If the Lightning are going to win, my X factor is Coleman. They're going to need depth scoring. They're going to need players that can step up. I debated between Yanni Gourde because Yanni Gourde had an excellent series last.
Yeah, he did against
Blue
Columbus.
Jackets.
Yeah.
He was all over the place. Honestly, might have been obviously points wise not the best, but in my opinion, full play wise, he was one of the best for them. He was incredible. Sure. I think those kind of guys had to step up for them. If the Lightning are going to win, they need to start controlling the action a bit more. In my opinion,
for sure, I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, my Stanley Cup champion pick is now in the second round. So
you went back and forth on?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. So take that, everyone who doubted
Did you say
me.
Boston, then Canes, then back to Boston?
Yeah.
No, I do.
Sounds a little
You're
fishy.
delusional. If you guys would listen, it's my turn to speak now. I have the microphone. Okay. I have B's in 6 here. It's gonna be a good series. I'm not too impressed with Tampa Bay against Columbus. Okay. Like Dubois was great. Wenberg played well. Bjorkstrand played well, but they had no business. Like, I mean, they won in 5 games because the overtime game, but like 2 overtime games technically. So they should have handled Columbus better. With that being said, at Boston 6, they dominate down low in the forecheck, man. They're just hounds on the puck. They'll bully you. They don't care how small they are. They're going to hit. They'll even fight you. Of course, they have Chara, who's an absolute monster back there. And Zach Bogosian in the first pairing in Tampa Bay. I mean, he played in Winnipeg, so like I know the kind of guy he is. He's not a first-line pairing guy. Ever since I saw him play against Columbus with Hedman, I've been scratching my head, and I don't think it's going to work. Boston looks poised to win again, as I said, and the perfection line in Boston looks great. Bergeron, Pasta, and Marchand. As Gio said, Pasta looks healthy. They got 2 goals last game. It was a sick play from Bergeron to Pasta to Marchand back of the net. They're clicking on all cylinders, and if Boston's depth scoring could start to score goals, they look poised to hoist the cup. My X factor, I'm going, rather than the depth guy, I'm going with a more scoring threat, is a guy I've been a fan of pretty much since he started, David Krejci. First series against Carolina, he dominated. He was the man of the hour. 9 games, 10 points. He's a playoff proven player. I've already talked about him before. I'm not going to get into it, but if Krejci, we already know the perfection line will score. If Krejci can also carry the load as a second line center, like, look out for Boston again.
Mm-hmm. This is a team that went to the Stanley Cup final last season, and barely any of the squad has changed. So they have the talent, the confidence, and the experience to go there, and they're going to do it here. They're going to beat Tampa. I have them winning in 6. The biggest story for Boston is there's 2 big stories actually. Pasternak's healthy.
Yep.
They dominated against the Canes without him, and now they're here with him. So they're just going to be better. The other one is Tuukka Rask is gone.
Yes.
He left in the middle of the Canes series. Yaroslav Halak came in, and he literally looks really good. He looks insane. The guy's putting up a 9.46. He's only allowed 2 goals against this series. He's really good. He's poised in net. He has the confidence. I don't think it's I don't think it's going to set Boston back. I don't think they're going to be like, okay, we don't have our main goalie, blah, 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 blah. I think they're right there. Like, okay, we have basically Rask 2.0 right now. Like, this guy's playing very good. And I don't know if it's getting to Tampa's head because they're just not clicking here. As Dougie said, they're just not clicking. Victor Hedman scored the 2 goals in that game. And Gio said also Stamkos isn't here. So maybe if he comes back, maybe stuff changes. But until then, Boston is just going to start dominating the game by game.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if they can rattle Halak off. He's a veteran, but he's not used to playing this many games in a row. He's going to be the only guy playing for them, and let's see if he continues to play the same way or starts to drop off a bit.
That's a great point you made, because one thing I want to add in too, with rattling Halak, it's got to be Patrick Maroon. He's already won a cup last year, so he knows what it takes, and he plays that third to fourth line, gritty, kind of annoying. He's a big guy, can't really move him. I mean, Chara can, so he might be scared of Chara. Who knows? But the last time they played each other, Boston and Tampa, before this, was that line brawl escapade when Maroon went after Chara anyway. So Maroon's going to have to find the inner demon in him. He was a psycho when he played, because without that, they look kind of soft, and he's going to have to be a difference too.
And again, there's no fans in attendance, so you rely on your teammates to hype up your team.
Exactly.
They're the people that are going to push you forward, and you got to rile up your own team in this instance.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got to channel his cup run from last year. Yeah. All right, last series, Philly versus the Islanders. Look, Montreal couldn't do it, couldn't beat Philly. If you guys watched the last game, Montreal kind of dominated that game, and they said they needed puck luck. They didn't get it. They lost the game. That's how it should go sometimes. I think Philly's going to have to play a lot better in this series.
Yes.
Much, much better in this series. If they, maybe not this series, I think maybe they can kind of squeak out some bad wins in this one. But after this one, it's the best of the best. They cannot be doing that anymore. Yep. This is almost a tune-up if they want to beat some of these better teams. They have to play better and better each game they play. My X factor is Konechny, because he has to play infinitely better. Infinitely better. The best player on their team so far has been Voracek, and it's been by a mile.
Yes.
I think Provorov has played really well as well, and then obviously Carter Hart has been incredible.
Yes.
But Konechny's going to have to start producing points for them, especially if they want some depth scoring. They literally don't have any right now. They're literally scoring on the power play, and some of the goals are just – I think they've had more goals off of Montreal players than they did themselves.
And
so
they had the puck luck, eh? Go figure.
Yeah, they can't rely on that in future series. I'm going to go Philly in 7. I really like the Islanders. I honestly hope whoever wins the series goes to the Cup final, because I kind of like both of these teams.
Yeah.
But Philly in 7.
That's surprising to see that, considering Montreal lost to them. But
took me a few days to cool down. That's better.
These teams look really good, especially the Islanders. The Islanders look really good. They got Barry Trotz. They didn't destroy. Well, they beat the Washington Capitals. Good on them. Shut them out in the final game. But now they're against Philly. A Philly team who dropped 2 games against Montreal. Now, if I was a Montreal fan, I would be really happy with my team. You guys are 24th in the league. Made it to almost round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I would not be disappointed in my team. You guys have a lot of potential.
Yep, for sure.
Team's going to be good. Philly, on the other hand, these guys are really good. Carter Hart just playing insane. But Islanders, I think they can do it. They beat them in the 3 games in the regular season.
Right.
Anthony Beauvillier is just playing insane. You guys got 6 goals.
Animal.
Playing really good. My X factor for this one is Matt Barzal. I think if he can score a little bit more, do a little bit more here and there, I think the Islanders are more of a threat. And I got to pick the Islanders here and actually in 7 games.
I like it. So just to piggyback what Gio said, how he said Philly needs to start scoring goals. They couldn't score because of Carey Price, as we all know, and Habs fans know specifically. So from going from Carey Price to Varlamov is a drastic difference. So I do see Philly scoring more goals, but I have the Islanders winning in 6 games. I have a feeling this will be a boring series again. Philly-Montreal was somewhat boring except for the 2 explosive games when Montreal won 5-0 and then the Philly's big game. Still see it being boring. Both teams are very good defensively. They have both good goalies in net, stingy defense. And if you have Barry Trotz as your coach, so he's proven now. I mean, what else you want him to do? He knows how to work his team well, so he's going to keep winning games. And don't get me wrong, the Isles are going to be buzzing after they beat the Caps, because not only did they beat a good team in 5 games that no one thought they were going to win and just dismantled them pretty much. It's Barry Trotz's former team. So the guys are loving it. The momentum's on their side, and they just can't wait to play another series again. My X factor is going to be former Winter Spitfire, Josh Bailey. I didn't know this. I was picking my Ram Fantasy Sportsnet team, and they had the points. He's a point per game. He's got more points than Matt Barzal. He's got 10 points in 9 games. Like, I mean, he has Bovilli on his wing. Okay, sure. But, man, a point per game is nothing to shake a stick at. That's pretty impressive considering no one really knew about him. Like, okay, I know he played for the Spits or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But he's looking pretty good as a second-line center. You have Moose's X-factor and Barzal who can control the play. You have Josh Bailey as a solid second-line center. And then their fourth line of Clutterbuck, Cizikas, and Martin. Yeah, they're plugs, but, man, they get the job done. They're almost as effective, if not as effective, as Vegas. This is fourth line with Reeves and the guys over there. So imagine them meeting in the final. That'd be cool to see that whole thing shake down. So Isles and 6, and I mean they could be a dark horse to play Boston in the conference final. I mean, why not?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh, also too, I want to mention Tom Reardon got canned. What do you guys think about that? Because personally, I thought the Caps looked unmotivated. I mean, you could blame it on the coach, but I mean, man, like you won the cup 2 years ago and you've done nothing since. The guys are kind of getting old out there. Ovi's 34 now. He's still a great player, but you get the point I'm making. The guys are getting old. Something's got to give. They fired the coach. Maybe they trade Oshie with that terrible contract, right? What do you guys think?
I do believe that Caps are gonna have to trade a big name here. Maybe Oshie.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be good. I don't think they should have fired him. It was first year with the Caps, I believe so, right, Dougie?
Second, I think.
Second
Second
year with the Caps. Give him some time. You know, as you could see, they got shut out in the do or die game. You know, that's on your players.
Reardon's not playing, so he's not the one to try to score.
He could be adjusting all he wants, but your players aren't scoring. That's on the players here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great potentials out there. You got Mike Babcock, former Toronto players coach.
Yep.
But my favorite is Gerard Gallant.
Man,
fired from Vegas. Nobody's picked him up yet. He's a great coach. He took Vegas to the Stanley Cup Finals in their first year.
Yeah.
This guy's the real deal, and he's a front runner, I believe, and he's my front runner too. If I was a Caps, I'd be quick to pick him up because there's a lot of teams out there. They fired almost 8 coaches this season within the teams. Yeah. So there's a lot of teams with interim head coaches. Calgary's one of them. Dallas is one of them. So there's a lot of coaches out there that are good, and they can get picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Like, obviously, I think Washington's in a mode where they're expected to win. They're expected to at least make it past the first round every single year. And obviously, there's going to be a huge drop-off between Trotz and basically whoever else. Trotz, like, coaching-wise, he might be the best coach in the league. I know, obviously, he's not in the conversation of Coach of the Year, but he's an amazing coach. And they're going to have a drop-off, and they did. They didn't like it. Obviously, motivation is part of the coach's job, especially with no crowd. It's hard to get into it. He's got to be pumping them up. Yeah, he wasn't doing enough. Could have been stuff behind doors as well that we don't know about. I agree with Moose, though. I think they hired Gallant. That'd be a great move.
Yeah, man.
I don't know exactly which way they're going to go, but I think that'd be nice. And I also do agree that they need to move an older player. I'm thinking possibly Backstrom, but
wow.
Dude.
I think he's someone who you can still get a lot for.
Yes. And
he might only have, I don't know, 1 or 2 more years left of being super, super good.
Yeah, of having elite play for sure. And they could probably get a good centerman back for him.
Yeah. Hopefully they just need to get younger guys.
It's not a young squad. You know,
no.
These guys are not getting any younger.
And an ongoing trend with Washington is that they pick up scrub old defensemen. Brandon Dillon did nothing. Radko Gudas is bad. Like,
terrible.
Noah Jensen from Detroit. Like, they pick up guys they think are going to fit the role well, and they just don't. Like, I'm pretty sure they fired the GM, if I'm not mistaken. They fired 2 people, so I think it might have been him. So whoever comes in's got to figure it out. And like you guys said, Gallant, I also like Laviolette, proven winner. And I mean, he coached Nashville for years. So and Philly,
also, Holtby, he's a free agent.
Yeah, dude, he's gone.
So this is Caps need to make moves if they want to have another chance. And like I said, they're not getting any younger. So
yeah, all the good players are over 30, except for like Kuznetsov. So you know, all their top guys at least. Yeah. So they gotta make some moves for sure.
Well said.
All right, with that, we'll segue out of hockey and we'll go to soccer. Champions League. The Champions League final happened. Bayern won 1-0.
Yes.
I was expecting a little bit more scoring, but they seem to have shut down the team's offenses pretty well throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was closer than I thought as well. I thought Bayern was going to dictate a little bit more of the play. Yeah, they had more possession, but I thought they were going to have more chances and so forth. But it was actually a good game to watch.
Man, I'm just really happy. Robert Lewandowski finally won a Champions League. He was
Yeah.
with Borussia Dortmund when they lost to Bayern Munich that one year. So I'm really happy that Robert finally he has a Ballon d'Or year this year. You know, if
Oh, yeah.
they decide to bring it back to Ballon d'Or, it should no doubtly go to him.
Oh, yeah.
Top
for
scorer
sure.
in the UCL, top assister in the UCL. He won the UCL. Top scorer in the Bundesliga, won the Bundesliga. Not to mention Bayern have now trebled. So they won the league, they won the League Cup, and now they won the Champions League. There's not that many teams that can do that. And this team did it. Good on them. Also, the first Canadian to win a Champions League,
What a
Alphonso
beast.
Davis. Good on him. Really
Yeah,
good.
man. Heck yeah.
But Bayern was insane. They shut down Icardi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
Yeah.
Second half, they were nowhere to be seen. They didn't score either at all.
Yeah.
Neymar, does you touch Neymar, he's gonna dive. He did that a few times this year. I'm not gonna deny that. But Bayern won 1-0. Good on them. And I hope they can. Robert Lewandowski is just a very good striker, and I think people don't recognize that a lot. They look at these young, skillful players. Robert Lewandowski has the IQ. He just has an amazing soccer IQ, and he can pass the ball and shoot the ball, and just in the best moments possible. He also had that 5 goals in like 14-minute game against Wolfsburg like 2 years ago. He's an insane striker. And Bayern got him for free. They paid $0 for this guy. Yeah. This entire squad's net worth was less than what they paid Neymar. Neymar was 220 million pounds.
Yeah,
Bayern's squad was 88 million, and they won the Champions League. This is Paris' first time in the Champions League final. They still haven't won it. I'm not a big Paris fan. I do not like their team. I'm a big Mbappe fan, though. I love him. He almost completed football at the age of 21, so good on him. But Bayern was just a dominant force this year, let alone. And also, they were the only team to never lose a game on the road to the Champions League final. They won every single game they played in the group stages, semifinals, all that, where they beat Barcelona 8-2. Thank you again. So good on them. It was a really good team, and I really hope Robert Lewandowski gets the award he deserves, the Ballon d'Or.
Well, Moose, way to rub it in the fact that Bayern has been good all year, and my 2 picks of Barca and PSG got their asses kicked pretty much. I mean, the 1-0 game, no, but you know what I'm saying? They couldn't score. I'm on fire with my soccer predictions. I mean, this is fantastic. Every team I picked to win has lost, so I feel great. Yeah, I mean, if you're paying Neymar this much, it's like the Maple Leafs, right? If you're paying Neymar 280 million pounds or 200, whatever it was, he's got to score goals. That's what you're there to do. And watching him cry on the bench, like, oh, okay, at least you have emotion. Where was that in the game? They need you to score goals. Icardi, you got to make plays. You got to score goals. Di Maria, where were you? I mean, Bayern, like Moose said, they never lost a game leading up to it, and they dominated great teams. So, I mean, well deserved on Bayern's behalf for sure.
Yeah, and then like Moose said, Lewandowski might be the most underrated player in the world. And I think it has to do with just being in the German league. The German league just doesn't get that much attention. Like no one, obviously the competition isn't as great as the English league or Spanish league, but those guys just don't get the hype they deserve. Like look at Aubameyang, goes to Arsenal, automatically he gets more praise and everything. You know, it's just the way it goes. And I hope they do bring it back this year, and I do hope he wins it.
Yeah,
for sure.
NFL news: Earl Thomas being released by the Ravens. Some personal misconduct. Doug, how about you give us a little insider on this one?
All right. Well, as you guys know, I got the Joe Flacco jersey on because I couldn't wait to talk about the Ravens. I've been itching to talk since the Jets have been out. So first things first, Earl Thomas. Before the season started, I was stoked that he was signed. Super Bowl champion, should have been Defensive Player of the Year. He's a great difference maker. He's a great player. You know, he's awesome. Great in Seattle. Maybe he could bring it to Baltimore. But the past year he played, I only remember 3 plays he made. He picked off Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, I could have done it for God's sake. He picked off Tom Brady when he overthrew a receiver 10 yards. So, I mean, luckily you're patrolling way back 50 yards back. And the 1 sack he had, first of his career, which is, I mean, impressive, whatever. But those 3 plays, that was it. And they paid him so much money and signed him for so long at 31 with all the guaranteed money, blah, blah, blah. I was like he left Seattle bad. He flipped off Pete Carroll. I mean, it was kind of funny to watch, but like what kind of happened there? Like there's a whole saga going on. Like, wow, Seattle, bad organization. And then you hear this. Comes out Saturday. that Earl Thomas, there's a video that he blew a coverage or something. So the team leader, Chuck Clark, most of people won't know. I'll give you an insight on him quick. Last year, he was on special teams. He wasn't really a guy who'd be a starter. Injuries happen. If it's football, he steps in the role, and then all these guys are saying, wow, this is the smartest player I've ever seen. He gets the microphone. For people who don't know, I'm sure Gio will explain as well, they're the team captain, or the coach talks to them. Gio can get more into it. That's just what I know from it. He gets the microphone of his first year starting, so he's more of a leader now. Doesn't have the C, but he's a leader. So he goes, hey, Earl, like, you know, you got to be more prepared, or whatever he said to him, like, hey, wake up or something. Earl punches him in the face. Really? You're professional, man. What are you doing? And then it comes out that he's skipping team meetings. Dude, you're a professional. Who are you? So now that makes me wonder, oh, it's not Seattle's fault. Must be him.
Mm-hmm.
Must be his ego. Does it suck his talent's leaving? Sure. But I'd rather have a team full of guys who are on the same page and have no ego, want to win for each other, and maybe lose in the first round of the playoffs, or play with a guy who's an a-hole and doesn't care about guys and fights them and whatever, and they win the Super Bowl. Honestly. Because at that point, it's going to create animosity and more guys will leave, and it causes drama within more than the team than one guy. So I know I rambled on, but I'm happy they got rid of him. I really am.
Earl Thomas, I don't know really much about him on a personal level, but I know him as a player, and I think he's a great player. That's all I'm going to say right here. 2013, I think he had a great year. He had 105 tackles, 78 solo tackles.
Yeah.
He's a Super Bowl champion, 7-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. He's a good player. And the Ravens released him, and the front runner are Dallas. And I'm kind of happy with this. God. I like it. He could go where Xavier Woods is. Xavier Woods had a good year this year, really good for him. But Earl Thomas is better, and I think if he can get there, I think our team is really good there. And go Dallas.
I think if Thomas goes there, him and Zeke are going to clash like no tomorrow. Even though it's offense, defense, they're going to clash because one of them won't perform, and they're going to get mad at each other, and it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how important it is to have good team chemistry. Like, people will sign these great players in free agency, and they don't click with the other players on the team, so that they don't turn out well. I still remember the Eagles' dream team we signed the 1 year. Yeah, look, we didn't have team chemistry, so we didn't compete well together. I think it's a huge aspect to the game, and I also do hope he goes to Dallas because he'll definitely ruin that organization as well.
I think we can fix him. I think we can set him straight. I
hope Antonio Brown goes there as well. That'd be perfect for me.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If Antonio Brown went to Baltimore, because he's retired now for the 8th time, but I mean, I wouldn't be on board. But if he plays well, I'm all for it. But if it's the Antonio Brown of drama, send him to Dallas, send him to Pittsburgh, to Cleveland. Who cares? I don't care.
Man,
but
if New England can't control him, no one's controlling him.
Right. Exactly, the most disciplined franchise of all time, and no wonder why they win so much, man. Right?
Yeah.
But one thing I want to say too is no one's going to watch the Ravens. I get it, but with Thomas being out, I think Deshaun Elliott's going to step in. I think he's going to do great and flourish in a starting role. Obviously, people don't know Deshaun Elliott got hurt last year, and he tore his ACL, big injury. He's back. He's healthy. He said he's ready to go for training camp. So, I mean, if he starts playing well, the young guys are going. I mean, look out for the secondary without Earl Thomas. I mean, they could do some damage. Absolutely.
I also see a lawsuit in this confrontation.
You think so?
Yeah, I see a big lawsuit here.
From where? From who?
Chuck
Clark? I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think he really cares. I mean, they asked him questions. He's like, I mean, I moved on. He's a good player, but I mean, we have more things to worry about. Like John Harbaugh, the guy who leads the team in leadership, and he sets the tone. He just goes, I mean, we have to move on. Like, he's gone. It's like Antonio Brown. I mean, it's a great point for a lawsuit if he did to be funny, but like, I think they've more on their plate than to worry about where Earl Thomas goes and whatnot. But
okay. And with that, I want to thank everyone for listening to the Cleats, Skates, and Hoops podcast. We've been Dougie, Gio, and Moose. Signing us off today is Sunday Morning by Chaos. Next time, more coverage of the NHL and NBA playoffs. Also, we're going to give our NFL predictions. Also, as always, more worldwide sports news. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We're everywhere, people.
See you guys.
Peace.